ShedeurSanders, Cleveland reporter clear air after awkward post-game exchange. ShedeurSanders' preseason debut for the Browns on Friday night was nearly flawless on the field. Off the field, it led to an unexpected exchange with longtime Cleveland reporter Tony Grossi. After the game, Sanders addressed Grossi directly, saying he felt the ESPN Cleveland host had only spoken negatively about him. The conversation was filmed and later posted to social media, creating a brief stir over the weekend. Speaking Monday on the Daily Grossi Show, Grossi explained that he initiated the conversation by calling Sanders' name after the quarterback had left the podium. "One thing to note was that I initiated the conversation," Grossi said. "He left the podium to walk to the locker room, and I called his name to ask him another question. And that's when he discussed what was on his mind. I was a little surprised he went into that because, as I said, it was inaudible, but I said, 'Hey, this is your night, man. This is a big night for you, have fun.' But I appreciated the fact that he did not say what was on his mind from the podium, which other quarterbacks have done with me, which is very uncomfortable." Grossi said he didn't know the exchange was being filmed. "It turns out it was his brother, who is documenting everything from his rookie season. That's fine, just now that I'm aware of it, I'll be a little more careful," Grossi said. He added that the conversation with Sanders ended on good terms. "We had a couple other words in the locker room too. But I was a little surprised that, on his big night, that he would raise this. That's why I thought he was joking. Anyways, all is good. We saw each other today at practice, and we move on." While some national media voices have pointed to the moment as another example of Sanders' perceived immaturity, Grossi said the matter is settled. The Browns had just wrapped up their preseason game, a night that was supposed to be all about football. ShedeurSanders had been solid if unspectacular, showing flashes of poise in the pocket, but also a couple of rookie mistakes that would be dissected in film study. As the rookie quarterback took the podium for the post-game press conference, the questions started rolling in. They were standard at first. "How did you feel about your reads? What's it like adjusting to the speed of the NFL?" Until a Cleveland beat reporter, a veteran of 2 decades on the Browns beat, leaned into the mic. "Do you think tonight proved you belong at this level?" the reporter asked. "Or do you think there's still a lot to prove before you can be taken seriously as a starter?" The room went still for a beat. Sanders tilted his head slightly, letting the silence stretch. His answer was short, almost clipped. "I'm always going to prove myself, but I don't think I need to convince anybody I belong here." His delivery wasn't angry, but the tone carried a hint of edge, enough for the internet to do what it does best: frame the moment as tense and awkward. The fallout. By the next morning, sports radio in Cleveland had turned the brief exchange into an all-day talking point. Was Sanders being defensive? Was the question out of line? Was this just a rookie learning how to navigate the sometimes loaded post-game environment? Even the reporter himself found his mentions flooded with hot takes, some defending his right to ask tough questions, others accusing him of trying to bait a rookie into a headline. The Browns, for their part, didn't make a big deal of it publicly. Head coach Kevin Stefanski brushed off the notion of any bad blood. But behind the scenes, there was an awareness that the rookie quarterback and the city's most prominent football voice probably shouldn't be on strained terms before week 1. The meeting. 2 days later, Sanders was spotted walking into the team's media room well after practice had ended. Waiting there was the reporter, notebook closed, coffee in hand. What followed wasn't some dramatic showdown. No raised voices, no pointed fingers. Just a conversation. Sanders explained that his response had been more about self-belief than about brushing off the question. He admitted he's been trained, from his college days under his father Deion Sanders, to protect his confidence at all costs. "I've always been taught, you don't show doubt," Sanders told him. "Even if you're still learning, you carry yourself like you're supposed to be here. That's just how I'm wired." The reporter, in turn, explained his side. After years of covering the Browns through endless quarterback turnovers, his question had been less about challenging Sanders' ability and more about gauging how he viewed his own readiness. They laughed about the way the clip had blown up online. Sanders joked that his poker face might need some work. The reporter admitted that sometimes a question can come off harsher than intended, especially in the quick back and forth of a press conference. By the end of the meeting, both sides agreed. No hard feelings. Why it mattered. In the NFL, relationships between players and local media are more important than they seem. The media doesn't just report, they shape the narrative around a player. A single tense moment, if left unresolved, can snowball into a season-long undercurrent of subtle jabs and testy exchanges. By clearing the air early, Sanders sent a signal. He's not afraid to stand his ground, but he's also willing to keep communication open. The reporter, for his part, came away impressed with the rookie's maturity. "Look, not every young quarterback takes the time to talk it out," he said on his radio show later that week. Shedeur didn't have to do that, but he did, and I respect the hell out of that. The fans' take. When word got out that Sanders and the reporter had patched things up, the fan response was surprisingly warm. In a city that's seen its share of quarterback media feuds, there was something refreshing about a rookie handling it this way. On social media, Browns fans began sharing memes of Sanders and the reporter shaking hands. Some real, some hilariously photoshopped. A few even joked that this was the most promising quarterback-media relationship in Cleveland history. Lessons learned. The episode highlighted a couple of truths about the NFL spotlight. Everything is amplified. What might have been a forgettable exchange in a college press room becomes a headline in the pros. Perception is as important as reality. Even if Sanders wasn't upset, his tone and body language told a different story to viewers. Proactive communication pays off. By addressing the situation quickly, both parties avoided weeks of awkwardness. Back to football. With the air cleared, Sanders turned his focus back to the field. In the following preseason game, he looked sharper, quicker in his reads, more comfortable commanding the huddle. Afterward, the same reporter asked the first question at the post-game press conference. "Better week, huh?" he said with a grin. Sanders chuckled. "Yeah, and I'm going to keep proving I belong." "You already know that." This time, the room laughed with them. No awkward silence. No headlines about tension. Just a rookie quarterback and a veteran reporter who had already weathered their first mini-controversy together.